Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to build an updated storage for my golden XP farm, or rather to modify my existing storage. Now basically in the 1.16.100 update, they made a change that when pigmen are in trident killers, they start dropping their swords. And that of course is a pretty big issue, because swords are non-stackable items, and they will take up tons of space in normal chests. And as well, in my previous storage, they would just flow around in a circle and cause tons of lag, because there would be tons of swords that will not get sorted in. So, what I did here is that I modified my existing system and made it so that all the swords that get in get burned. So as you can see, this is more or less the same system as my previous storage design. And just to quickly explain what I tried to do, so first I did try to make a system that is completely overhauled and that would actually collect the swords and put them into blast furnaces, because you actually get a pretty large return of gold ingots from the swords, and you could smelt those to get even more gold per hour. And don't worry, the swords are not taking up any of the chance for, well, the other items dropping, so you are not losing out on any gold from the original farm design by not smelting the swords. And well, that did not turn out well, so I just settled with this design right here, where all of the swords get burned. At its core, the system is still more or less the same, but as you can see here, we have some clocks in the center that detect when a sword gets pulled out, and what we're using is that we're determining whether a sword is passing through the hoppers or not by its signal strength, because a sword is a non-stackable item, and when they pass through a hopper, they will emit a signal strength of 3 instead of 1, like a normal item would, and by doing that, we can basically take out the swords and throw them into the fire. Now unfortunately, this will not work 100% reliably, so you will lose a few, well, of the other items sometimes, and that is also the reason why I could not just replace the dropper with some blast furnaces. Because, well, there would occasionally be items like rotten flesh or gold ingots or gold nuggets getting into the blast furnaces, and the blast furnaces would get clogged. And, well, over long periods of time of running this farm, it will just completely clog, and there would be additional issues, and you would just end up with the same problem, that there would be gold swords circulating in the water streams and causing lag. A little unrelated to the gold farm storage, but there are also two other tweaks that I want to show you how to add to my gold farm today, and that is the tweak that you are in two minecarts. Well, there is one minecart that you sit in and the other is empty, and those two minecarts are basically bouncing each other, and that in turn makes you spin around in a circle. And that is so that you can collect all of the experience in the chambers, because apparently when you stand in the center, some of the XP does not reach you from what I heard, and by doing this, the XP will reach you. And the second tweak is that we are preventing baby zombified piglins from glitching out by putting trapdoors in front of the pistons, or well, on the back side of the pistons. And that way the baby zombie pigmen or zombified piglins will not glitch out. Because this system is so similar to the previous one, I will not show you from start to finish how to build it, but I will simply go off from my previous gold farm storage and show you the necessary modifications. So if you haven't built any storage for my gold and XP farm yet, you just want to go to the first gold farm storage video, which I linked in the description, and after you finish that one, you can come back here. I have also included a world download for this world in particular in the description if you are more interested in checking it out, and if you want to check for mistakes that you may have made in your own world. Alright, so here we are. This is my old gold farm storage, and like you can see, this is more or less the same, but we are going to have to make some key modifications so that the swords don't loop around infinitely and cause tons of lag. So first of all, we are going to rip out the existing auto droppers, and all of those are just going away. You should now be left with 4 hoppers underneath each trident killer. And we are going to get rid of the 2 hoppers towards the inside on each side. So just take out those two, and those two, and those two. Now, the hopper minecart is going to be floating a little like this, but don't worry because it is on the other hoppers. And we're just going to place some solid blocks here, so that when we remove the other hoppers, that the hopper minecart doesn't just straight up fall down. Before we remove those though, you want to go to each corner of the inside of these little channels and get yourself some temporary blocks. And you want to, well, go 2 blocks up and have a dropper facing in the water, well, down the water. You don't want it facing this way because it would land on the button, or maybe a slab, maybe use the button, maybe a slab, and it would get stuck there because there's no water to push it. So make sure to have it in the correct direction, which is this. And then what you simply want to do is to take out one of those hoppers here, one of those hoppers there, and redirect them straight into the dropper. Now do this for every side. We can already remove all of those hoppers if we want to, but yeah, we're going to do this for every corner. Now what we want to do is remove those blocks, and we are going to make some simple auto dropper clocks. And for that, we are first going to grab ourselves some stairs, and you also want a piston, comparator, some redstone dust. We can get some obsidian, which is optional, and a torch. So let's just put a block right in front of here. What you want to do then is have a piston facing downwards. Below that piston, put a piece of obsidian, like I said, that's optional. Have a comparator, put a torch on the side of that piston. 2 blocks, and then just some more blocks like this. We are going to need a repeater actually. So repeater right here, redstone dust, put that comparator on subtract mode, and well, then you have some redstone dust here. Just place some 2 temporary blocks like this. A stair facing this way, this is very important. And there we go. Now when we place in some items, it will shoot them all out, and this is a 4 game tick dropper clock. So this is very fast, this is pretty much max speed. And as you can imagine, you simply want to repeat this on every of the 4 sides, and it should look like this. When you have it on all 4 sides, you just want to grab yourself some blocks. I'm going to grab myself some glass, because glass looks nice, and just put it on top of there, because we don't want any stray items entering the hoppers, and well, it is unlikely, but nonetheless, we can just do it. It doesn't cost much at all. Next up, we're just going to make our little burning stations for the golden swords. So on every one of these sides, you want to have a dropper facing downwards and just replacing the glass, and put a salt block next to it. Now make sure it's on the same side on every side. Then you can place a temporary block behind the dropper, have an observer facing into the salt block next to the dropper, and then just go down 1 block. Have a comparator, 1 sticky piston facing up, 1 slide block, a salt block, another salt block, and a piece of redstone dust. And you can repeat that on the other 3 sides. Now it should look like this on all 4 sides, and if you did it right, then you still have enough space to get in and out from the center, and that's perfect. Now we're going to build a system that separates the golden swords from the other items. So we're just going to place 4 hoppers underneath these 4 top hoppers. And then we want to place some more hoppers that lead all into the dropper. And do that on the remaining sides, of course. The next step may be a little tricky. So we are going to place 4 blocks like this. And we want to remove those 2 blocks. Now, we want to place comparators reading from those hoppers, and you may have to jump and then place, and that might be tricky, and of course place those in the proper direction. But when you get it right, you just want to close that back up. The rest is fairly simple. Just place some salt blocks here, place 2 temporary blocks that you can remove afterwards, place some more blocks, torches, repeaters, blocks here. You have to put glass here, and then redstone dust. And what will basically happen here is that when a golden sword passes through, it will emit a signal strength of 3 instead of 1 from a normal item. And when that happens, then this torch will turn off, and so will this repeater, and this hopper will unlock. And all of these will then land in the dropper here, and they will eventually get burned in fire that we're going to place here afterwards. But first, of course, repeat this on every side. When that is all said and done, you want to simply get some netherrack and some flint and steel. When you get those two, just go underneath where the dropper is facing down and place one netherrack and light it on fire. And you want to do the same on all 4 sides. And when you did the same on all 4 sides, we are going to place some glass around where the fire is. It doesn't really need to be glass, you can also have solid blocks, but I like to see the fire because why not? It adds to the overall feel of the system. Alright, that is all the modifications to the storage system done. Now I just want to quickly show you the other modifications that you can add to this farm. And that would simply be to prevent, well, baby piglins or zombified piglins from going out. And the other modification would be to have XP reach you more easily. So first, let's take care of the XP having trouble reaching you. You want to take 1 chest minecart, 1 normal minecart, and 4 rails. And you simply want to lower this. Of course, you want to get your glass back. And place 4 rails like this. Now place 1 minecart. And right above, just have a hopper minecart, chest minecart I mean, on a rail. You can break that block. And that way you can get them both onto the same 4 rails. Now the reason why we are using a chest minecart and a normal minecart is so that, well, you are the only one who can ride a minecart, because if there's a second minecart, then, you know, there could be potentially a zombified piglin escaping. I'm pretty sure that it shouldn't happen, but you should always be prepared. Now the second modification we want to make for XP to reach you more easily is to replace these upside down stairs with slabs. Now initially I did use upside down stairs instead of slabs, but there is actually something that is funny with stairs, and that is that they're, well, little open sides, they bounce entities, or, well, items and experience, I believe. So that is not very fortunate. Secondly, let's fix the baby piglins or zombified piglins getting out, and we just want to place 1 trapdoor on the back side of each piston like this and close it up. Now what we want to do is to change the system how we toggle the trident killer. So because of the current system, when we flick this lever off to turn on the trident killers, this trapdoor will open, and we of course don't want that. So what you want to do is put the lever on another side, just tear a hole in here, place 1 redstone dust, place a torch, and then you can place a lever and close that back up. You can remove that lever and close that trapdoor again. Now when you toggle the trident killer with this lever right here, then this trapdoor will not open, and neither will any one of the 3 others. And that should prevent all baby zombified piglins from escaping and killing you. Alright, that's it. I hope you found this useful, and I worked on this a ton. So if you could subscribe, then I would be very grateful. And, well, I hope this is useful to you, because, well, you know, golden swords are pretty annoying if they take up so much more space. But, well, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you around. Bye!